defending Caitlin or defending the team, or how do you view just how it all?
I view it as a flagrant foul.
I'll ask about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
talk
seriously.
about basketball.
Yeah.
Come on now.
When the only cash cow in your league starts to think about leaving, what precisely happens? That is the current situation in the WNBA. Your brand spokesperson, who influences your ratings, item sales, and mainstream importance, gets so fed up with the blatant disrespect, shady tactics, and biased officiating that she's prepared to go.
I'm almost convinced that the WNBA, along with their microscopic fan base, I'm almost convinced that they don't want to see the WNBA grow. I'm almost convinced that it bothers them that Caitlin Clark has elevated this.
The WNBA should go over and above to safeguard Caitlin Clark, the game-changing golden goose, who is unquestionably the biggest thing to ever happen to this league. Not convinced. Simply examine the figures. There are rumors that the media magnet is finished. The WNBA is finished, not basketball. Furthermore, you can't really blame her after seeing the most recent games.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her.
The ratings have risen by over 200%. Due to Caitlin Clark, she is a revolution rather than merely a rookie. Instead of treating her like a celebrity, the league has permitted her to be treated like a punching bag. Networks have been rescheduling NBA and MLB Summer League games in recent months to provide Caitlin Clark with national prime-time dates. And with jersey sales practically skyrocketing, arena sellouts have become the norm.
This was all game, folks. All game. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were getting checked. All game. The Indiana Fever were getting punked. All game. The referees let this physical style of basketball continue and continue.
Yes, that is accurate. Every week, the officials merely nod when Clark is shoved, elbowed, checked across the face, or blindsided. If the incident is so horrible that it becomes viral online, they may even call a foul and give Clark a retroactive wrist slap. Sheldon.
And what we saw in this Connecticut Sun game was J.C. Sheldon picking Caitlin Clark up full court. It was back to rookie year defensive strategies against Caitlin Clark. Guarding her full court, face guarding her, blitzing her on every single screen, double teaming her. Like that was the Connecticut Sun defensive strategy for Caitlin Clark, and J.C. Sheldon was in her face.
And that's the problem. The league only responds to fan uproar because social media forces them to. Not because it's the proper thing to do or because they want to protect their most important asset. Let us now talk about the most recent incident that occurred during the most recent game versus the Sun and sparked the entire debate. Clark was the target of not one, but 2 vile, destructive, and absolutely awful plays.
So as you guys can see here, J.C. Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because J.C. stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her.
Before supporters could even stop yelling about that one, there was the first JCS. With the ball out of play and no basketball action taking place, Marina McBraw decided to go full linebacker and shoulder check Clark to the ground. This was no form of physical protection. The job was a hit. Sheldon delivered what can only be characterized as a miniature eye gouge by reaching across Clark's face. It was visible on the replay. It was exact and completely superfluous.
Floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, J.C. Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark.
Furthermore, why didn't the referees eject anyone? Clark, let that sink in. During a single game, the biggest star in your league gets hit in the eye and then decked in the chest, but the players involved carry on as if nothing had happened. Not one egregious foul was called. Complete mayhem occurred with no referee to step in.
You got one player, one valuable asset. You have one star that you should be protecting at all costs. And How does the WNBA treat her? They constantly attack her, they poke her in the eye, then they take cheap shots when she's...
According to reports, the lady who brought women's basketball to millions of new fans is thinking of quitting the league completely. She has no intention of retiring or taking a sabbatical, but rather walking away from a WNBA that, quite frankly, has given her every reason to do so. The rumors started at that point. As multiple club reporters, insiders, and even former players have whispered, Clark is at her breaking point.
Of course, the referees are going to review the play because that's a lot of contact going on right there. That's a lot of unnecessary contact. That's a lot of non-basketball contact happening during this play, right? So the 3 referees that I like to say, they got them straight out of Sephora because I don't think these referees have ever refereed.
Let's not mince things, but it's over if Clark does go. The brutal truth is that the WNBA, after decades of begging for mainstream attention, finally got it with Clark. As a result, the league is a different product without Clark, one that most casual fans won't watch. And now because they are unable to even police their own standards, they are throwing it out.
Clark should 100% skip this and send a message to the commissioner. And that is about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever take their first trip to the Commissioner's Cup Championship.
What makes it worse? Missing a call is one thing, but persistently ignoring Clark's blatant obscene behavior while accusing her of ticky-tack crimes is quite another. However, when Clark is beaten, the discrepancy is so obvious that it almost seems funny. When she breaths near a defender foul, the whistle doesn't make any noise. It's a joke, but a dangerous and awkward one.
The jealous rage was bad enough, but to make matters worse, and this is what most Caitlin Clark fans are pissed off about. Notice I did not say WNBA fans, they don't exist. But the reason most Caitlin Clark fans are pissed off is because the WNBA seems to be steadfast in their refusal not to do a damn thing about it.
To be clear, Clark has never asked to be given special treatment. She isn't griping about every phone call. She has only ever requested equal treatment and defense against frequently targeted birds. Rather, she is attacked and then humiliated for requesting it.
Reaction. I was losing it, and you guys were in chat like, what is going on? What is happening? How was that the call? After 15 minutes of deliberating, that's what you call 3 texts and a flagrant 1? That's it? That's it? That is what they called. And it was so funny because on the broadcast, I'm not even sure who the male announcer was, but he was essentially like, what do you actually need to do to get ejected?
And that brings us full circle to our concern. The league will fall apart if Clark even threatens to resign. The players who have spent the last few months trying to make her appear modest will start performing again in front of 1,500 spectators in nearly deserted stadiums, and casual viewers will quit watching.
Because this is the Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games, including the Indiana?
Caitlin Clark, let's talk about the money. The WNBA has been losing money for years. This is no secret. They have remained viable thanks to outside funding, and Clark's presence has been a lifeline thanks to the NBA's goodwill. A product suddenly attracted the attention of consumers and is now considering being taken off the shelf.
Headline at USA Today. WNBA TV ratings down more than 50% since Caitlin Clark injury. But this is not me highlighting the huge embarrassing failure in the WNBA. This is not me pointing out that this league is absolutely useless without the Roo from Waterloo. This is USA Today, the home of the Star Trek virgin Mike.
Because Clark has already left her stamp and turned professional athletics into something else entirely. Given that the league would not defend her, why would she continue to give away her body night after night? The WNBA needs her like an air epidemic, even though she doesn't need the league.
I hope Clark doesn't play. Fever should pack up, let the league fail. Obviously, they don't have her best interest at heart. It's an effing laughable. Sheldon Mabry were allowed to continue to play.
And the supporters are conscious of it. They have been vocal and furious. The hashtag defend Clark is always trending. Every time she gets hit, every time she is fouled, every time the whistle doesn't blow, and now they are focusing on the league, fans are posting videos of it.
Pretend basketball players have come to the harsh realization that their precious turd of a league, it is irrelevant without Caitlin Clark. Prior to her injury, the Felines were averaging 1.8 million viewers. Since Caitlin Clark has been injured, the unknown supporting cast in Indiana, they have that number down to a cool 847,000.
You can bet that there is a meeting going on somewhere in the WNBA front office with just one item on the agenda because networks and sponsors are nervous. How do we respond if Clark departs? Other players are starting to express their thoughts as well.
It was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what
I do that. One of Clark's toughest defenders, Sophie Cunningham, literally went into bodyguard mode during the most recent game, starting a verbal fight with the other squad. The audience cheered her off the court as though she were a hero for standing up for her buddy after watching Clark commit yet another uncalled foul. Mention.
Marina Mabry didn't get ejected for this. Marina Mabry didn't get ejected for this at all. But Sophie Cunningham got thrown out for what she did. Sophie Cunningham got thrown out for what...
Sophie protected herself by acting in a way that was prohibited by both the league and the referees. When fans noticed that Caitlin Clark's shirt sold out in a few hours, she rose to prominence as a representation of commitment and responsibility. On the other hand, the referees watch game after game as Clark is beaten and do nothing. This is not respectable.
Sophie Cunningham's jersey? Oh yeah. Fever fans spend that bread, folks. Sophie Cunningham's jersey, out of stock. Look at that. No size in stock. A small, a medium, a large, an extra large, a double XL. You're going to have to get one custom made. Sophie Cunningham stands up for Caitlin Clark, and overnight, her jerseys are selling like hotcakes. Sophie.
What happens next? Does the league step in? Do the refs start calling fouls now? Or does the commissioner decide in the end that this is excessive? Because if they don't, Caitlin Clark will quit, and she will take the league's future, supporters, viewership, and media attention with her. This is not merely a rumor, it is a warning. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments box, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your time and hope to see you at the next one. Protect your league, your players, your stars, or watch it all go to pieces.